Legionnaires of the Lariat! Welcome back to another episode of I Still Call It a Lariat. And today we are reviewing 2025 Crown Jewel. I'm your host, as always, Michael Wright, and with me is my tag team partner extraordinaire, Steven Zapf. Steven, how are we doing today?
Good day. I'm sorry. Does it work for Crown Jewel like we did with Bonjour?
Well, given that the street fight might have been the least street fightiest street fight, maybe, I don't know. Can't tell.
Maybe I don't know. Is Australia known for street fights? Like, are there just like packs of wolves getting like are they just like breaking out into like West Side Story in Sydney?
Yeah, right.
They got to, right?
They love rugby.
I mean, I feel like this would have been better for like an Outback fight, right?
100%. But at the same time, like, you don't tussle with the Australians. The Aussies, they'll take you down.
Aussie rules football.
100%. So, like all places where a street fight makes sense, that's one. I feel like anything I say next on where you don't have street fights will be overly condescending or insulting. But if you're thinking what I'm thinking, we're thinking the same thing.
No. How would I know?
It checks out. It checks out.
So Showtime, I think, since we are recording this a couple days after the event, and obviously Monday Night Raw has gone through, spoilers ahead. If you have not watched Raw, we are going to report on some of the news with that as well. I think we should.
Yeah, 100%. So this is your warning. We won't do it every time moving forward. I apologize. We wanted to get this out on Monday, and I fell asleep, and then we were going to do it on Tuesday, and then Steven didn't fall asleep. I fell asleep. It's all Steven's fault, but I'm the one that fell asleep.
It's my fault. I put him to bed.
That's not
what happened at all.
It's not impossible.
Yep.
If you were here, I would have been up later.
That's actually fair. You would have been.
So it's your fault.
That makes sense. God,
I'll get there. What'd you think of this card overall, Steven? Is this better than WrestlePalooza? Let's start there. Let's set the bar low.
Yes. The show was definitely better than WrestlePalooza. I think this was a good show. But I heard this, and I'm going to agree with this. Let's call this show what it was. This was a house show with production. That's what this was.
I disagree. The cards, the matches here are high caliber matches. There's no filler matches here whatsoever.
I'll give you that.
You have multiple champions fighting champions. You have storylines being progressed. This isn't house show level stuff. I have to agree with that wholeheartedly.
Now then, let's face it, one match on this whole card made this whole card too. Like, that's...
No, I also disagree.
See,
because I know the one you're talking about, but at the same time, the main event was great in this. You're talking about Cena AJ Styles.
Cena AJ. I think
which was the best match on this card.
It was absolutely the best match on this card. It might be the best match of the last couple of pay-per-views, honestly.
But I thought Roman Bronson was good.
I thought Roman Bronson was good.
Tiffany got there.
I think it got there. Here's my thing. The Stephanie Tiffany match was the best Tiffany match I've seen in a while.
Because she didn't fight Nia.
That's true. And Cody and Seth was good. Honestly, and this hurts me to say it, but I think the Rhea Ripley match was the match I was least happy with on the show.
The
tag team match? The Rhea and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors. And I'll get more into that when we get to that match, but that match left me wanting a little bit.
That one was a perfectly fine match. That's the way I put that one. It was perfectly fine, and you just expect more out of Rhea and Io. I think what they were afraid with this, like they couldn't make this match too good because it's not over. Like this feud is going to continue to percolate. It's going to continue to be a thing. And while that it's a thing, the first real match that all four of them are together can't be this huge blowout match. I agree with that sentiment. Like, not the probably not the worst card, not the worst match in this card, was it? Maybe it was.
I think it kind of was, and like I said, I'll give my real opinions of that match when we cover that part of the card. But like, there's stuff I want to go over with that match specifically. There's things that I want to dive into.
Yeah, let's kick this off. Let's get into it for real here, Steven. We'll start with the Australian street fight. So you know that there's going to be a cricket bat throwing some rugby balls at people. We had Roman Reigns being pinned cleanly. I mean, cleanly is a relative term.
Cleanly enough.
I mean, Bronson pinned him. He was done. Shenanigans galore. Is shenanigans a Australian term?
It might be. It is now.
It might be.
Good day.
Crikey.
Crikey.
So we in a street fight, again, not including jeans, which were like khakis. Is that what
he's got like cargo pants on? I think he's got like cargo pants on. Roman does.
So does Roman's count? Roman's might count. Okay, I'll give you that. In a relatively subdued version of this, actually, this is more of the bloodline rules, in my opinion, than a street fight. As we saw, that just means you're going to get all of the interference. I think that Braun Breaker's entrance to this was telegraphed. When Roman started to get that running head of steam to go for the spear on the outside, I'm like, and here's Braun. You just knew that was the moment where he was going to jump out of the crowd and spear the crap out of Roman.
I definitely like this match too. It was fun. Roman getting to be a little bit more relaxed in this situation, and don't get me wrong, it's a little weird that Roman's the only one that has some type of mic on him in the middle of a match. But
he pulled it from the side.
Yeah, but I mean, like they somehow work up mics around Roman to make sure he's allowed to talk to people. I like the descent between the original Bloodline guys, the Usos and Reigns, and Roman Reigns still had the line of the night, as far as I'm concerned, with "I love y'all, but I don't want to see you till Christmas."
That's just him saying that he's gone until Christmas, right?
I don't know what that means. I don't know. Probably, which I don't know. Well, we'll see now, because there's so many other things that are twisting and pivoting with the upper echelon of Raw now. Listen, Bronson Reed winning this is cleanly. I mean, he still pinned Roman, regardless of the shenanigans. That's the whole point of the street fight, or the no holds barred, or no DQ, or whatever we're calling it this week. That's kind of a clean win, no matter what. And
yeah, we both called this. I'll kind of ruin the surprise here. Spoilers, like we warned. You and I got this unanimously correct across the board. It was a pretty predictable outcomes card. It doesn't take anything away from how good it was, but it was pretty predictable. So Bronson Reed winning this, it only made sense that there's no reason to run it back between these two specifically if Bronson wasn't going to get this win. Roman just beat him. I think they'll probably wait for the rubber match for a while. Do it to something where Bronson Reed is able to continue to be built up, but Bronson's starting to get quite the tick marks at this point in time. He's beaten Rollins, he's beaten Roman, he's beaten Orton, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple other people in there.
I mean,
of real importance.
before he got injured, he had that nice program going with Braun Strowman, the Monster program.
Yeah, I feel like
And
Strowman's on the echelon down. Like I'm talking about like the top of the top.
I just mean he was fun to watch. He was proving
Sure.
that he was fun to watch then. And I think this might be the point that we start seeing Bronson get a real. The problem is with what happened at Raw, he's basically going to be the number 2 guy. But I think Bronson Reed, Big Bronson Reed, might end up being the guy you have to get through to get to the guy. Like, you have to work a program with Bronson Reed before you can work a world title program, which is not a bad place for him to be as far as a career goes, because he's solid. He's believable as a contender. You can always kind of fall back on that.
What I would really like to see happen here, and we'll get, I don't know, I want to save what happened with Seth till the end. So like that's one thing where I'm hesitant to say the next thing. But I would like to see a world where you have Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker simultaneously world champions, or one holding the Universal Championship, one holding the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, talk about Heyman's guys doing it. Like, that
I mean,
is a lot of fun. And, you know, it fit more organically earlier. So for those that don't know, in the main event, I won't spoil what happened in the main event, but Seth got hurt. So it's going to open up the world title picture in a big way. And I think everyone is kind of expecting Braun Breaker to go get that title, but he touched it. Like, you saw him touch it, right, Steven?
We saw him touch it.
And when you touch the title, and it's not your title, you don't typically win title.
That is true. I will say this, and I know they're pivoting because Seth Rollins got injured, obviously, and it looks like no matter,
just calling out.
Yeah, he got injured. He's going to be. It looks like he's going to be gone for at least the remainder of the year, if not longer. This kind of blows up plans for a lot of things moving forward.
For literally everything, your storyline.
For pretty much everything. But realistically, I thought a better path for these guys, for Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, for the Bronze, if you will. Braun. I would have been happier to see these two guys, because they're both kind of on the edge of being main event caliber. They're basically they're raw main eventers. I don't know if they're pay-per-view main eventers yet, but they're absolutely raw main eventers. I would have liked to have seen them get tag titles before getting pushed, but obviously pivots had to be made because of injuries. And the only reason why I really wanted it was because those two guys could have elevated the tag team division.
That I will agree with you. I don't think they needed the tag team titles. Them going in and just have a dominant run with the tag team titles does make that division a little bit more interesting.
That's the thing, is it's less for them and more for the tag titles. They're a team that could have made those titles mean something again.
But at the same time, yes, they need that, because the Judgment Day don't even defend those titles. They just kind of sit on them. It's stupid what they do with it. But and I see where you're coming from. But I also don't think this is a bad thing. I think Braun Breaker isn't a pay-per-view main eventer just because he hasn't done it yet.
It's exactly.
As simple as that. Like,
I agree, and I agree with that. He is the next guy, and I'm not disagreeing with that whatsoever. It's just a matter of, for my own personal preference and for what I would have rather have seen, I would like the tag team titles to have gotten elevated by these two guys, because it would have been awesome.
Like, I had said this before, and I'll say it again. It's been leaked on who we all think the final opponent for John Cena is going to be. And I think it's a mistake, because I think it should be Braun Breaker. The only reason why Brock Lesnar squashing Cena made sense was to put over Braun Breaker. Like it's simple. It's all goes back to Braun. I think that he is the next guy, and like even if you look at the other people who they thought that they think are up in that caliber, a Gunther, even Rollins continuing to go up in that way. Um, the the next real guy, in my opinion, is Braun Breaker. I don't think anyone's gonna be able to touch him. I agree with your sentiment around, like all of a sudden they're just gonna announce him as Braun Steiner, and then or whatever that first
Yeah.
first
Whatever his first name's going to
yeah
be, but it's going to be something Steiner. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next step. Is
yeah
that's how they set him up to be a real main eventer. But this Bronson Reed match, this Bronson Reed Roman Reigns match, it was good and it ended how it should have, and it ends with the descent that even carries over to Raw between Jimmy and Jay. And honestly, it might be something where this descent, if played properly, can finally elevate Jimmy a little bit, because we've been saying that for a little while too, is that Jimmy just seems like
he's there.
he's there. He's the guy that we beat.
Mm-hmm.
So I
he
wouldn't
has
mind.
been that guy, but also it's funny because I think it was clear that they were trying to get like the Usos back together at first. Like it was a little bit of dissension, but like they came in, worked as a unit, like they had still been tagging together, and it was like, oh yeah, remember how fun this was when they were actually a tag team that we cared about watching them together. Not that we don't care about seeing them apart, but like it's just something you got so used to, and then all of a sudden not used to anymore because like the split was so drastic. Jimmy went away for a while, and so like that was something that I was looking forward to them doing more. But now I think they're gonna scuttle that, and I do think one of them is gonna join this faction.
I can see
I'm
that.
convinced. I think it's gonna be Jimmy. I think Jimmy will do better because of it. Like, I can see Jimmy and Bronson Reed going on a nice little tag title run.
That could be cool. I've also heard that it might be a little bit of a call up from NXT too. They might bring in Oba Femi. They might bring. I've also heard that they might bring in Oba and call over Carmelo from SmackDown. So
sure,
who knows?
People from left field. I've also heard Austin Theory had something to do in this grouping. Let's put somebody that makes sense rather than using this to kind of fill it. Like Jimmy coming back to Heyman actually makes a lot of sense. When Jimmy was on the top of his game, he was with Heyman. But all in all, I like this match. It wasn't a 5-star classic by any means. Not that we'd expect it to be so, but it was a great match, and I was thoroughly entertained. Going on to the next match of the night was for the women's crown jewel. Get a little extra bling on one of these fingers. It was Stephanie Vacure versus Tiffany Stratton. We both had Stephanie in this match. Stephanie went over. It makes a lot of sense. This was one that I think you can make a case for either. I think this is probably the hardest match to call on the whole night, because of how over Tiffany is, but the fact that they bring in that she wasn't defeated this year, the fact that Stephanie just won that title and her losing this close, like if you balance the weight, the weights on the scale, it kind of just tipped a little bit towards Stephanie's favor.
I agree. Also, we've said this, and this is no fault of Tiffany, by the way, but her booking has been stale for a while now. It's I don't know. There's something about what's going on with Tiffany that I'm just not. I'm not into right now, and I just I don't know. It's just something there. I'm not into it right now. I don't like her as a baby face. She's not a natural baby face. I think that's really what it is, and in this match, she played the baby face part.
Extending her hand and having it slapped away or
Getting it kicked away.
Yeah, like it made no sense whatsoever.
No, if one of them was going to
Stephanie it's not like Stephanie's the heel.
No, if one of them was gonna do it, Stephanie should have put the hand out.
Or
And like
that could have been a great moment for Tiffany to show her true colors and so start showing little cracks in the armor. It made no sense the way they did it.
no, and I will say this was easily Tiffany's best match in a while. I know I've said this already, but this was easily her best match in a while. This was better than her and Charlotte. This was but I had said beforehand, this match kind of needed to be better than Stephanie and Io's match a month ago, or two or 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't. And it wasn't. And honestly, I think a little bit of what made it not as good was that. So Stephanie and Io were two baby faces that stayed baby faces the whole match.
What I want to happen is every single woman in this division needs to spend 1 hour a day chain wrestling with Becky.
Yeah.
And just
Stephanie.
Becky and I think Stephanie needs a little bit of it too. At the beginning of this, they wanted to get into that chain, and Stephanie is definitely at a higher caliber, but I don't think anyone can touch Becky. Like, just go and wrestle for a half hour a day with Becky and figure out how to make this work, because everyone that tries to chain wrestle and get like a really good fast start in those things are always missing spots. It's always just a half a second off. I said it with Naomi, and we had our excuses for it. I'm saying it with Tiffany. There's quite a few people who do this, and you're just like, you're there. You just half a step faster.
That's the thing is, I don't think that's something, and especially someone like, I know Tiffany trained a little bit with Ken Anderson before she got called up to NXT, but I don't think it's one of those things that NXT is going over to the extent that wrestling schools used to go over, at least. Like, it used to, that used to be a really big part of it. And a prime example during this match specifically was they were going for it. Stephanie's got her in the hammerlock, and Tiffany went to do the reach over, where it's usually the reach over into the hammerlock, or you reverse the armbar and then you take the headlock how you should. And if you look, Tiffany doesn't go all the way around and grabs the headlock on the wrong arm.
She just kind of spins her around.
She just spins her around into the headlock. And I looked at, and I had to watch it back a couple times, because I was like, well, I know Steph has the background from CMLL, and she's, Lucha Libre, and they work the opposite side. I was like, is that what happened? I went, nope. It's just, it was just, they left. They gave him that LD, that lazy doodle.
Yeah. And like, you see that across the board. I know that there's a lot of, I guess, junior or she's been working kind of the B squad to a certain degree when it comes to like real in-ring talent. Stephanie, I always go back to that first match again that I saw her against Mercedes, just being like, oh, okay, this one gets it. Like, she's actually really good at wrestling. And like, so putting her side by side with Tiffany kind of made Tiffany look a little weaker. So I'm glad Stephanie won this. It was a very enjoyable match once they got into a groove. Like, you could see it was a tale of two matches almost.
It was. And again, I said this last time with her and Io, and I'll say it again. I love her doing that Sky Twister instead of her, instead of the move that she's been doing. This is a much better finish for her.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on. You good?
I'm good. Let's do this. You
ready for what I like to call a love letter to the last 20 years of wrestling?
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It was like a
tear. Not really, but I did.
How do I know? How do I know?
You never know. You wouldn't know. We have John Baptiste Cena versus AJ Styles. TNA AJ Styles.
I love that he came out in the old school gear. Like, the only thing
I'm surprised he wasn't clean shaven and had short hair.
I almost wish that he had at least left the beard, but that he had cut the hair. Yeah, like I was almost expecting the haircut. The one thing he did do that he hasn't done in years, though, he put the ring back around his neck. He put his wedding ring back around his neck. He hasn't done that since TNA. So that was even little things like that. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
I'll call it out now because we didn't mention it in the Roman match. But man, is Michael Cole dropping some names. He does it in this match a few times, but did you notice that he said the words Dean Ambrose in the first match? And like he could have easily just gotten away with the Shield. But he specifically said Dean Ambrose. And this one, he calls out a couple names that we'll get to in a minute. But listen, this is what we all wanted.
This was exactly what we wanted.
It's not like they didn't know what we wanted. And now I'm even more annoyed because I got it. I'm like, man, this has been great. If I could have gotten 4 more of these, the last 4 matches instead of what we did get.
Yeah.
Because this was absolutely, I mean, this like, it was definitely not the best match of all times, but it has elements of all of the best matches of all time.
I agree. And this is one of those matches. I will compare this to one of our favorite matches, and that's Hogan Rock from Mania. Sure. The average, like, I can't show this to a wrestling school student and be like, do this, because you can't. It doesn't work the same way. So like you have to you have to have a 20-year career at the highest level for this to work. Otherwise, it's just you're doing other people's moves at that point for no reason. So this works because it's these two guys. They definitely played the emotional roller coaster. It was a lot of fun. It was everything that, like you said, it was everything that we wanted from these two guys. Yeah. Even the entrance with Cena giving AJ his own personalized entrance for it, like that was pretty perfect. And I think the only thing that takes away from this match, even a little bit, is AJ announcing that he's retiring next year, no matter what. I think it would have been better if he did it after the match.
I don't think that mattered. That didn't take anything away from me. Let
me change how I'm saying that then. Not the match. It didn't take away from the match, but the build up or lack thereof build up. It hurts it a little bit in the sense that, well, Cena's going to kind of win this one because AJ's leaving. We knew AJ was leaving, but just him saying it was like, that's what kind of swayed us a little bit more towards the Cena side of this. I do wonder, though, with the way that they're doing things and the pivots, especially, does AJ get one more big run?
I don't think he does. I think that they had an opportunity with Cody to do that, and they moved against it. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him go down to TNA. Maybe that's where he gets that run and elevates that belt, because they've done nothing but bury TNA since they started that partnership. And I don't care that they moved some things around and tried to start making things right. They clearly put TNA in their place. But hey, let's just make sure we know. Like, we have the majors, we get the minors, and then we get the other guys, because that's the way that they've kind of posed that, like that the NXT talent is better than TNA talent, which is not true
at all.
You have not even close, but that's how it's been positioned.
It on at least one plus coming off of this weekend. At least Mike Santana is now the TNA World Champion.
100%, but like they've like essentially like we're midway through a like 80s teen movie, and the bad guys are NXT. Like, they're the young kids. They're the skiers, I guess, because then the skiers are the bad guys, and the good guys.
They're running around in skeleton costumes.
100%, and I guess the TNA guys are just the whiny kid from New Jersey.
That actually tracks.
It tracks. But this match was absolutely awesome. But I'm just going to get into some of the homages that they get into. You know, Cena's match is going to have too many finisher moves. That's just the way they built it. Never did I think it was going to be everyone's finisher moves.
Everyone's.
You have Orton in there. You have Kazarian in there. You have Christopher Daniels in there. You have Bray Wyatt in there. You had Samoa Joe in there.
Samoa Joe.
You had obviously Cena and AJ in there. Who am I missing? There was some. The Undertaker, HBK.
Yep. Well, actually, I don't know if AJ's super kick was HBK.
I mean,
I believe it was technically supposed to be James Storm.
Did James Storm also kick them out before he did it?
Okay. Yeah. So I think it was technically. I mean, it was a little bit of both because AJ never wrestled Michaels. That's strictly
fair, but like for that audience, that was HBK.
Oh yeah, we that's who we were all thinking, especially with Cena being in there and HBK being part of Cena's lineage. How cool would it have been if Cena hit like a phenomenal forearm? Hey,
the crowd chanting 619 and then them immediately going into it. I was like, yeah, you guys get it. You guys do get it. And even though they didn't have it happen, that was awesome.
And I'm also going to give a little. He hit the Miz. I'm also going to give a little bit of a nod back to TNA on this one because during the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, Kazarian hit an homage to AJ. He hit the Pele kick during his match, and I think it was the Pele kick right into the Styles Clash is what he might have hit. So like everyone that's been around for a minute is giving their nods to each other, kind of like Edge hitting the 5-knuckle shuffle last month at All Out.
Like it is a nice little homage to the crew, and like it's funny. Like this is where I like to name drop from our early wrestling career. Like we were there when AJ and Frankie met pre TNA. Like maybe not the very beginning of it, but they were working those cards with us back in the day on a much higher level. I'm not trying to compare myself to them whatsoever. But we were the ring crew guys when they were actually wrestling and headlining their shows. But it's just funny how far their careers have gone, and yet they're still so like close to each other. That Frankie getting that call out, I think was awesome, and we've always been such a huge fan of his. Obviously, you're going to get the Samoa Joe. Obviously, you're going to get the Christopher Daniels. That trio is probably the most iconic of it. Oh, Sting! I forgot Sting in that whole thing too.
Oh yeah, the Sting.
As I keep going through. But I absolutely loved all of those. Like really calling back to all their best feuds. I've said it before on this show that one of the things I appreciate the most about Cody and his wrestling is his mentors and the people he's worked with. He adopts some of their moves, and I think that this was a really cool like way to say like if I'm going to put this guy away, I have to put together everything I've ever learned. And over that 20-year career, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is.
I think you had to take a moment to just call out the Bray Wyatt spot and the Fireflies coming out. Like, that was really, really special.
That was beautiful.
Throw that one back out.
And before we move on from this match, we've been saying this for a long time to each other. I don't know if we've said it on air, but AJ coming out in his old gear, 20-year-old gear, basically, is proof that AJ Styles' gear has always been awesome. Phenomenal, if you will, if pun intended. Like he's always just had really cool gear. And this is just more proof of it because that gear was still awesome 20 years later.
Yeah.
There's stuff that you look at now and you're like, oh, that's no, that was not a good choice for you, bud. And then you look at this and you're like, oh, all right. If AJ didn't look like he was 15 pounds heavier by pure muscle than he did back then, that gear would have still been just the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. This I'm going to go back to the beginning of this conversation before we end this. This is what we wanted the whole time.
The whole time.
Cena clearly has lost his step. He's older. He's taken so much time off. He can't do the things that he once did. And I'm not blaming him for any of that. The way you fix that is make this shit fun. And that's exactly what that was. It was just unbridled fun. That, like, I've heard some people say it was a 5-star match. I've heard people say that it was match of the year contention. No way. But it might have been the most entertaining match of the year. So that is where I think it lands.
That's where I put it in for match of the years, because it was so entertaining and so fun. And the love letter to pro wrestling that it was, that everyone says that it is, like, it was one of those matches that, again, made me remember why I love this, why I love it so much. And that puts them in a certain echelon, because the storytelling of their 20-year careers makes this a better match than it probably should have been. And that's what puts it into the match of the year candidate. Do I think it's a 5-star match? No, I don't. I think it's a fun match.
It's so fun.
It was so much fun. But I think because of the level of fun and because of the emotion that it drew out of you, that's what puts it into a match of the year candidate.
I think I judge match of the year candidates differently. And that's where it'll always get me. Like, there's just, you put so much on the line and the physicality that goes into these matches, having a pure wrestling match. I think you'll always keep that out of there. But I will say, when this is all said and done, and I lie to myself and to say how great John Cena's retirement tour was, I'm only going to watch one match. It's just this one. Everything else is right in the garbage.
Well, let's see. He's got like 2 left, so let's see. He might get.
It doesn't matter now. I no longer care.
No,
because the more that they do these great matches, like, I know that they have. The rumor has it that it is that it's Gunther is going to be his final opponent. Now that could change, of course. I still think it should be Braun Breaker. But I want to see other matches. Like, let's get away from the best of, because now I'm good with that. I've gotten the best of, and so, like, let's get to a point now where I get to see the best of that never happened, or like that needs to happen with these guys at the caliber where they are now. Like, I'm dying for Cena versus Drew. I'm like, please give me Cena versus Drew. Honestly, I don't care about anything else. I don't really need Cena versus Punk. I don't really need too many of that. I would love to see Cena versus Dom. Like, that would be a lot of fun. And so, like, there's other ones I'd rather see at this point in time than like on those last. He has 4 appearances left, I think. Is that what it is? Is it 4?
4 appearances after this.
So give me something with someone younger. Like, I would take those as the final 4. Braun, Dom, Drew, and Gunther. Like, that's...
I would take that.
I'm good after that. And I know, I'm sure he's wrestled some of those guys in the past, and I'm probably just spacing.
I think Drew is actually the only one that he's wrestled in the past at some point during Drew's first run.
Yeah, and which is why I snuck in there at their current caliber. Because Drew
is operating at a different level. Yeah,
babyface Drew or whatever, or literally babyface Drew. Maybe not good guy, but it is different. And I know that he came out. Did he wrestle Dom and the Judgment Day with Awesome Truth? Everyone did the 5 knuckles shuffle. One thing.
Maybe was that them?
Was that a
match,
or is that just a running thing that happened recently?
Yeah, that would have been a match, but I didn't realize that was them. So, all right, that's how not memorable it was.
Yeah, I mean, that was nonsense. It should have been more memorable because that was in truth was on par. And then remember when they re-signed him after letting him go and then did absolutely nothing with him?
Yeah, we're back there.
All right, right back to it. So we'll move on. We can gush over this match all day long. It was awesome. You should watch it. Watch it again. I've
Watched it 3
again.
times.
And again, this is how I choose to remember Cena's retirement tour. It was all just this match.
Just this.
Just this one. Like a whole year of just this match. It's a long
It's
match.
weird. It's weird how they only had this match. Like he gave us like 36 dates, but it was only this one match.
It's just one match. It's weird how that works. Surprisingly, Logan Paul was nowhere to be seen. The next match was Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors. And Steven, you were talking about this match before. Do you know what it was missing? It was continuity. I think that's where the problem was. Like how torn Io Sky was to have to wrestle her old friends, but walk down to the ring smiling, going like this. The fact that Kyrie went right at was it right at Io? Yeah. Kyrie went right at Io in the very beginning, even though she doesn't want to fight her at all. Really missing some of those basic beats of the drama of this match. They weren't there.
No, and I agree. I agree with that. Also, here's the thing, and Io Sky in the ropes, in the ring, might be the best women's wrestler on the planet. There's an argument to be made there that between the ropes and putting on a match, she might be it. I don't know, and I'm not saying she is, but she might be. But outside of Rhea, all of their the performance side of things, the persona, the character, if you will, and I hate saying character for wrestling, but you get what I'm saying. The lead up that was for their performance left lacking. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna catch heat for this. This is gonna be the one that I catch heat for. I don't know if I'm a fan of Asuka. I don't think I'm a fan, and I'm not saying because of her performance. I don't know if I'm a fan of Asuka matches. I don't know if I'm a fan of Asuka's persona. It's constantly like she's a caricature of what people think Japanese women wrestling is. And and when her and Io are in there, and I love Io, I do. I love her matches normally, but the stuff her and Asuka did, it looked like a bad anime. It looked and sounded like a bad anime. And I don't care. And I get it. I'm going to catch heat for this. And I'm taking.
And I'm not quite on the same page as you, but keep going.
I'm catching it, and I understand it. But at the same time, like you said, it's a lot of no continuity. Even in the match itself, there was the story they told in the match ended up missing a lot of beats.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the stuff they've built into it, but just how the match should have progressed ended up missing some stuff. I have nothing bad to say about Rhea, but except for the fact that she wasn't really there that much. Like she got in
there for the win.
She was there for the win, and that was and that was kind of about it. But like the majority of the opening of the match and like the middle of the match is all Io. Like Io took the sympathy. Io took the win. Io started the match, I believe. And I don't remember if and when Rhea actually tagged in, other than maybe for a hot tag. And
she got the hot tag.
She got the hot tag, but even for the hot tag, they missed the opportunity for the real hot tag because there was a point where Io, who had been getting the sympathy beat up, doesn't turn around. Like she's standing upright, and instead of going to get the tag after, getting the crap knocked out of her, she goes and continues to like work on Kyrie or Asuka or one of them. And like, she's standing by her corner basically. So like, there's a lot here is the reason why I say this is my least favorite match on the card. And I like most of the people involved in it, except for
you also missed, not that you missed it on the show, but like in that breakdown, but there's a lot of Jamokin in the beginning of this match.
A lot of Jamokin too. Like that's what I'm saying is this match had
and
potential.
Rhea was Jamokin. Rhea out cold for a while, being like, wait, just don't get tagged in.
This match had potential to steal the show, and instead it left me wanting. I get it. I'm gonna Legion. You want to give it to me? I'll take the heat. I'll take this one on the chin for everything I just said because it makes me sound like a bad guy. But at the same time, we'll be releasing our preview of Wrestle Dream. I'm sure I'm going to give it to them later too. Don't worry. But I'm not going to let it go that this match was subpar for these people, for the people involved in this match.
Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean that you're a bad guy.
I'm going to bat it on.
So there's a lot there. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hit on all of it. I'm not on the same page fully. In this match, I agree with you to a certain degree.
In this match.
The storytelling beats weren't there. They were there for the taking, and they just didn't take them. Because I think that Io in the past has done a really good job with that. Her damage control days, her being a kind of flipping to a face overnight. She really took that, like the whole silly head waggle thing. That's so over right now. Like that was earned, and she really has the ability to tell a really strong story. And they just kind of bungled it here, and I don't understand why they did, why they missed that part.
I'm gonna go back to what I said. It kind of boils down to there's one common factor of what I said I don't like here. I don't like Asuka.
So that's where I think you're wrong. I think she's super strong in the ring. I think that they're forcing her to be the mean girl right now, and maybe that's where she doesn't shine to a certain degree. And so I've never been a fan of the mean girl kind of storyline to begin with. But Asuka's proven time again that she's absolutely phenomenal.
I think she can wrestle.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things. If I go much further into this, it's gonna be really bad. And
I'm uncomfortable right now. I don't know where you're going.
And so I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. But it's one of those things where Asuka in general, I don't know. Even NXT Asuka, I wasn't I didn't fully come along with her then. I respect what she can do in the ring. She is great in the ring. But her and Io, two of the best that we think are the best, two of the best of the best. They didn't do great here.
Yeah. And I go back to what I said when we started previewing this. I think that they went in there with a air of being reserved because this was the first real match of this clinic, and that's going to go on for a while. And so I think they had to hold back to a certain degree so they don't ruin the finale.
I think I would have rather have seen them, and this is hindsight 2020. I think it would have been better if we got more Io Kyrie in this match.
But more Io Kyrie, but at the same time, following the story that they said that they don't want to fight each other.
I agree.
And because they built none of that tension in this match.
No, none.
I think that's the biggest miss.
They could have done that where Io, or where they start off with Asuka and Io, and Asuka tags in Kyrie, and those are the two that are really don't want to fight. So Io tags in Rhea, but they didn't do that.
Yeah,
they didn't do a back and forth with it. Yeah, they didn't do a back and forth with that.
Io Kyrie, and Kyrie tags out right away, and Asuka's pissed about it. That's how you build that tension, and they just didn't do it.
Like I said, I think the beats that they missed were just so big for me, and just in general, I just wasn't a fan of this match. I was a fan of. I enjoyed the rest of the card, and I obviously loved the last match the Cena AJ match, but just in general, like this didn't. I don't know.
It just
This
didn't
match
tell
didn't
the
do it for me.
story that this match was meant to tell.
Yeah,
And that's what it wasn't a bad match. It just was if there's any house show match, it was this one.
Yeah, this should have been better. Is basically where we're at.
There's just a story. There was a story that was right there that they were supposed to tell that they didn't, and that's where it felt kind of empty. Before Steve puts his foot any deeper in his mouth, I'll move on to
just wait.
Oh no. We have the men's crown jewel championship.
For the ring
championship, is that what that's called?
It is the crown jewel championship
for a belt that is from like waist to nips. Is that how big that thing is?
Oh, that's a big belt. Both of them are giant belts.
They're huge. It's so funny on Stephanie too, because
they're so gaudy.
I thought she was gonna fall over while wearing it. Like, I'm sure she's very strong. That just goes to show how heavy that belt is. We have Cody Rhodes, last year's men's crown jewel champion, versus Seth freaking Rollins, who's 0-3 against Cody.
Since his return.
Yes,
0-3 against Cody since his return. I think they need to start saying that too. Because it makes it.
Had Seth beat him as not Goldust.
I don't know about Stardust, but he definitely beat him in his first run before he became Stardust, I think.
Fair.
When he was just Cody Rhodes.
Go ahead. Go for it.
So I have one question for you, Showtime. And it's
I'm not an answer for you.
I'm not bashing this match by any means, because I thought this match was good, and we both got this right that Seth was going to win this.
Mm-hmm.
Seth winning this title should technically elevate the World Heavyweight title to a spot that is even with the WWE title that Cody holds, right?
Sure.
So my question is, does it? Did it elevate that title to the spot that it should have? Because I feel like it did not, even though it should have.
It should have been the start of it. So this is my opinion on it, with or without this win. I think that Seth Rollins is the only one to ever hold this title and make it feel like it's on par with the Universal title. Like, honestly, I could really use Roman having a nice little run with this title, probably, just to legitimize it a little bit too, because they keep giving it to B talent that they don't give a chance to be dominant with it. Drew's time with it was short and kind of vacant.
Punk had it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, Punk had it for 30 seconds, so it doesn't count. He couldn't elevate it. Priest and Gunther's runs with this were completely bungled. And Jay. And main event, Jey Uso, if you have to have main event in your title, are you really main event?
Now,
so like that's the hindrance here. If he doesn't get hurt in this and then goes on a dominant run where he starts really taking some people down, I think that's what happens. And this is like that coming. This
should have been the start of it, because that's the other half to this 2-part question would have been. I
preface that ahead.
Sorry, I didn't specify this
question. I have 2 questions.
If Seth doesn't get hurt and he goes on this run that you think would have elevated the World Heavyweight Championship to be even with the other WWE title, the actual WWE title, at the end of this, do we start looking at Seth as the guy? Because that's been kind of the knock on Seth this whole time, is like Cody is the guy. Roman was the guy. Cena was the guy. Hogan was the guy. You know, the only time that there's been a couple points where there's like multiple the guys was like Stone Cold and The Rock were the guys. And I want to say this, and I'm not saying this disrespectfully to Seth, and I'm definitely not saying this disrespectfully to the talent that I am associating him with. Seth is Randy Savage. Seth is, unfortunately, in that point up in the early 90s, he's Shawn Michaels. Seth is Triple H. Seth is Randy Orton. He's the guy under the guy. Savage always had to defer to Hogan. Michaels always had to defer to Bret Hart in the early 90s. Triple H deferred to Stone Cold and The Rock, and Orton deferred to Cena, obviously. It feels very much like he's that guy. And and that's not a disrespect. That's still a Hall of Fame career.
Sure.
But Orton has never been the guy due to his own. He can't, almost like he can't get out of his way sometimes.
He couldn't.
And
if youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah, and if you look, kind of the guys I've just described, they're all in that same boat.
Sure.
Randy Savage is kind of a different situation, but there were times where he couldn't get out of his own way. He was too OCD about things, is what people said. That's neither here nor there, but he just couldn't work in the system well enough sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they worked with a much bigger man strategy back then. Michaels obviously had his stuff going on. H even had his stuff going on after the curtain call and all that things. Like, who knows what would have happened if they don't do the curtain call and he gets the King of the Ring, and we don't get Austin 316. It could have been a completely different situation. Sure. Who knows? But that's not what happened. And like we just said, Orton was always he's so close. He's everything that you want, but he's just not that guy. So would Seth have been the guy after this? Would you have looked at him as the guy?
Not after one win. You're putting too much on a meaningless match. No, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, if he doesn't get hurt and he does the run that you think he was going to go on.
Sure. He could have. You put him on a run where he cleanly beats CM Punk, gets over on Cody again, beats Rollins, beats McIntyre. Yeah, he has a year run where he's dominant, and the only thing that stops him is that the vision turns on him after WrestleMania, maybe even next year's WrestleMania. Sure. I mean, Roman was the guy for 5 years. Before that, he was just another guy in the Shield. It has to be built into the story. I can't say after this one match anything changes, because it's a meaningless match in Perth, really, of champion versus champion, where nothing changes hands and you don't even see that title again until next year. But it could have easily propelled him into that spot where now he's the number one champion because he's beaten Cody twice. He'd have to beat him a second time, obviously.
I agree.
He went over on Roman cleanly. He's running the most dominant faction in WWE. So sure, it just depends on whether or not the management writes the right story. He helps write the right stories for him. Because in all honesty, Rollins is an annoying, swarmy heel that has the entire crowd sing his music. It's not like he has a hard time getting over. And it's not hard for me to believe that he could beat anyone on this roster. If you have his next match be Brock Lesnar and he beats Brock Lesnar, all of a sudden Brock squashes Cena, Rollins beats Brock. That in its own right elevates him.
Okay.
Immediately. There's a path. It's a pretty easy path to get him to be
that's what I wanted to know is, do you think there was again, I can't go off of this one win, obviously, especially since what happened.
We're making up fantasies, and he's going to be gone the rest of this year. So, who knows what was going to happen?
Yeah.
And
so, to go into it more, obviously, Seth wins this, and then on Raw, they have the vision turn on him, which seems very abrupt because a little hot-shotted, because none of us knew that Seth was hurt at this point.
Mm-hmm. We should go back and actually review this match. We're all over the place. But
we're all over the place. No, I like this match. I like the end. I like using the watch as the nuts to get. I thought that was really cool. I like Rollins coming out with gear from their previous 3 matches. Cody coming out with just the leather jacket on was a little off for me. I didn't see that one.
I was a little disappointed on that too.
Um, I thought this was good. I thought this was as good of a match as I thought it was going to be. These guys have never disappointed me with their matches.
Yeah, I was hoping for something just a little bit higher than expectations. Just because that's the match I'm missing from Cody, and this is a dig at Cody, no one else, because I don't think he's come out and done that match alone. Like his best matches are the Roman matches where there's just so many other people involved.
So much.
And his run as champion in its own right has been a little lackluster. Not because he's not great, but that's all he is. Like he's talking about Cody being the guy. You might be overselling Cody a little bit here too.
Well, but I think that's they're overselling Cody. He is pitted as the guy. Let me put it that way.
That was kind of my point too. It's like it depends on how they write him. So that's fair.
So to bounce off of what you said though, Cody's best singles match, his best match by himself, was the first match with Seth when he came back. Honestly,
sure,
that was the best wrestling match he's had, completely by himself, no one else helping, just him and Seth going out there and wrestling.
The Lesnar match was good too, back in like 2 years ago.
They were good, but that was his. I think that was his best overall wrestling match because they told the right story for the night that it was.
Sure.
They wrestled the match. They wrestled the match perfectly for the story as well.
And this was clearly his best match as champion. Outside of if you want to count the Roman matches, I'll count those. Those ones I think were the best ones. But this was his best match as champion away from Roman.
I think so. I mean, you could make the argument for one of the Owens' matches too, but
they were great and they were fun. I overly score anything with Kevin Owens. Like I feel like I'm not a fair factor in that because I'm just such a big fan of his. And then you put those two together, but also that ended so abruptly that I feel like it almost tarnished those matches.
It hurts it.
And to no one's fault. I mean, like I can't blame a broken neck, or can I? Yeah, the fucking sorry.
Blame the neck. So Rollins is hurt. He's out the rest of the year. We have made mention of this now. Or it looks like he's out for the rest of the year is what it looks like. It seems like Braun Breaker is going to be the guy, like the next guy. At least that's the way it looks. It could also be a swerve, not like this swerve, but like an actual swerve. And maybe they go Bronson Reed. I'm going to throw this one out at you because I was a big fan of when they switched Kurt Angle from a little bit of the comedy stuff and made him the wrestling machine. And during that time, Batista tore his bicep, I think. He did something. He was going to be on the shelf and they just vacated the title. And I kind of like the idea of them vacating the title here. And when they did it with Batista, Kurt Angle was the surprise entry for a battle royal where the winner was going to be the new world heavyweight champion. I kind of like that idea in this scenario. And you use a surprise entry as a guy that I don't know if he's there right now.
It's Jericho?
Yes. No. Just no. He doesn't need to be.
Coming, did you?
What is he now? He's the Nueve. What's 10 in Spanish?
Yes.
Yeah. He'd be that. I don't need him to be that. No. And I don't know if he's ready for this spot either. Even the guy that I'm going to mention, but a cool surprise would be a fully serious and hungry Jacob Fatu.
I thought you were going to say Joe Hendry for a second too.
No, Joe Hendry would be funny. That would be hilarious. But I think Jacob Fatu, and I think a little bit of their worry for pulling the trigger on Jacob is because of his background. He can't go everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's not a gimmick. That's, MVP talks about it, that he wasn't able to go to whichever one it was or Forbidden Door in the UK. He wasn't allowed because they started instituting new things if you have a felony background.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a little bit of the worry for Jacob Fatu, especially now that they're doing all of this international stuff.
Yeah, a lot of like you can't even get into Canada, can you?
I think he can get into Canada. I think they've gone through all the paperwork for that. But like, I think Australia, I think the UK, I think there's a lot of places that he might not be able to.
Sweet irony.
Sweet irony. It really is. But like, I really think that Jacob Fatu would be a cool pivot for this whole thing, especially since then we might get Braun Breaker or Bronstein or whatever we're going to call him versus Jacob Fatu a little early, a little quicker than we planned.
Yeah, we were already talking about how I see that being a WrestleMania main event in the future, maybe multiple time WrestleMania main event. I'm okay with them subverting expectations. Like, I'm really cool. Like, I've talked myself into it on this show. Look, that's where I came up with it. I hadn't thought about it beforehand. With Bronson Reed sneaking that title, because you expect it to go the other way, I'm very interested in the dynamic with Paul Heyman. I'm not interested in scared Heyman. I already saw that with Solo, and I'm over it. And he was shocked. He clearly was not in on the fact that Braun was going to smoke Rollins and then move on. So in that situation, and I get why Bronson Reed was like, all right, let's go. He had already beaten Seth. He's stronger. Like it's clear he's stronger with Braun, and we had already talked about how they kind of felt like they've already split this faction into two between Seth and Becky. Now, I'm all for Becky sticking with the vision and being like, screw him, I'm with you guys.
I'm going to stick with the winners.
I already got him at home. No harm, no foul. He does suck. Let's go. Because that's awesome.
That would be, yeah. Well, I remember I said the same thing if the Naomi pregnancy scare or Naomi pregnancy thing was a work. I was like, could you imagine if like she bashed Jimmy?
Yeah.
And like this is kind of along the same lines. Like you have an opportunity to do it. Like her being like, no, I'm gonna leave him home with the kids like he should be.
Yeah.
I'm here with the winners.
Hey Seth, go make me a sandwich. I'll take care of it.
Don't worry, I'll bring home the check.
Yeah, and she is the man. So like it fits the storyline. So I'm cool. I can see Braun being like, you're either with him or you're with me. And she'd be like, you know what? I'm with you. Like at home, I'm with him. Here, I'm with you, which is kind of cool because you can see the opportunity for when Seth come back. This all shakes down. I could see Heyman double crossing both of them to go with Seth because that was his chosen one, and these two were just add-ons at the back. There's a lot of storyline to have there, though. At this moment in time, I'm ready for Braun Breaker to have that world title. I think he can carry the load, but you need him to beat Brock Lesnar. You need him to go over on Roman. Everything I talked about with Seth, that all needs to happen.
Do it with Breaker instead. That would and again, where it's all speculation until we see what they're going to do next week, because they're even talking about how they might not, depending on what MRIs come back and things like that, they might not take the title off Seth.
You take the title off of Rhea 15 minutes after she was hurt. I'm still angry about that.
I'm
go
not disagreeing.
From a year ago.
I'm so glad I did this because now I can get him fired up.
That's malarkey. Malarkey.
He's over here jumping up and down. He's hopping mad.
Hopping mad. Such a good Muppet joke. It didn't make sense why they took that title off her so quickly. And like other people said, the Judgment Day doesn't defend their tag team titles and they're healthy.
Ever.
But not here nor there. If he's hurt, take the title off.
I agree.
Should have left it on Naomi. She could have been back in 12 months. Well, what's that hiatus? So that was Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel Perth.
Overall, pretty strong show. Again, I feel like a lot of these shows are just missing that little extra that I'm still waiting for. But this was not a disappointment, and I feel like we were bashing these shows earlier. I think it definitely lived up to expectations. Just wish I liked it. I just would have liked to have seen it exceed a little bit. But that was Crown Jewel Perth. Do us a favor in the comments. Tell us why we're right. Tell us why we're wrong. Specifically, Steven around Asuka, because that's all his take. Don't look at me. Please like, subscribe, share it. Tell a friend if you don't have any friends. Tell a stranger. And Steven?
First, put another shrimp on the barbie. And second, remember to tuck your chin when you bump.